Hello viewers, thank you very much for watching Gibbs TV. Today's video, we'll be looking at how to write and publish a research article. This is the part 3 of the article writing. The question is, what comes next after you are done with your research? From the part 2, what comes next after you are done with the part 2 video? Publishing the results of your research findings in a journal, of course, is the next step because you have devoted time to create your article. Then the next step is to submit the articles to the journal or maybe the outlet you want to publish in. Yeah, Gibbs TV will tell you how to present your work in the best way possible so that you increase your chances of acceptance. Let's get into it. Facts about article publications. It's a good idea to know some facts so that you get it right, from the first start. Very important. It is important to know that things have gotten busy in scholarly publishing journal, no doubt about that. Statistically, a new article gets published in the 50,000 most important peer-reviewed journals every few seconds. Each one takes an average 40 minutes to read. Also, hundreds of thousands of research and review papers read the decks of editors and reviewers worldwide each year. And 50% of all submissions end up rejected at some stage. So it's not all the papers that have been submitted get accepted. So on average, half of the papers that have been submitted to any journal or less, half of them get accepted and half get rejected. So you need to increase your chances to fall within the 50% of acceptance. This is partly due to the increasing competition and the people who decide upon the fate of your manuscript or your article are short on time and overworked. So with little mistakes, your paper will end up in the trash. But there are always ways to make their lives a little bit easier and improve your own chances of getting your work published. Therefore, it's very important to get it done right. The key is getting done right in order to increase the chances for your paper to be accepted. So how can you get it right? There are 7 steps to help you increase the chances for your research paper to be accepted by any journal outlet. 1 is check whether your research is publication ready. That is very important. After you have drafted it, the first step is to check whether the document is ready for publication. 2 is to choose an article type. Choose an article type. 3 is choose a journal. 4 is construct your paper. Then 5, decide the order of authors. Then 6, check and double check your document. Then the 7th then is ready for you to submit your paper. All right. So these are some of the things we went through in the part 2 of the video, some of the general guide to article length. So they are here for you to also see it in this part 3. Step 1, check whether your research is publication ready. If your work holds academic value, of course, a well-written scholarly article could open doors to your research community. However, if you are not yet sure whether your research is ready for publication, here are some key questions to ask yourself, depending on your field of expertise. What are these questions? Below are some checklists or questions to determine if your work holds academic value. This is the first thing that you need to do after you think you have drafted something. So the first is, have you done or found something new and interesting or something unique? That is filling a gap. Very important because that will give the high chance rate for your paper to be or probability of your paper to be accepted. Very important. The second is the work directly related to a current hot topic or debate? They want to see the relevance of the article, the relevance of what you're writing. So once it is relevant and is critical, then why not? They will accept it. Have you checked the latest results or research in the field? so that you be sure that your work is unique and coming to contribute to the body of knowledge. Have you provided solution to any difficult problems? Have the findings been verified? Have the appropriate controls been performed if required? Are your findings comprehensive? All these things are the checklist. So if the answer to all relevant questions are yes, then you need to prepare a good, strong manuscript. Remember, a research paper is only useful if it is clearly understood, okay? And can be reproducible, and if it is read and use. So the key element here is the replica. Can it be replicated? And is it adding value to the existing body of knowledge? Is it filling in a gap? If all the answers to the checklist are yes, then you have a good paper to submit. Second is choose an article type. Yes. So the second step is to determine which type of research paper is most appropriate for your work and what you want to achieve based on the checklist. So do you want to go by a review paper or a research paper? So if you are doing an original research article paper, okay, then you need to know what goes into it. If you are just doing a review article, where you are going to review some books that have been published to tell readers how significant a book is and how people should get into reading that book, then that will follow the review style. Okay, so full original research paper disseminate completed research findings. On average, this type of paper, as we saw from the previous video, falls between 12 to 20 pages long. It contains 5 figures, 25 to 30 references. So, with respect to the review papers present, and this is the typical example of a full article, where it has all the components of article, standard article writing, all the outline that we discussed in the previous video, okay, needs to be included in every original research article or paper that you want to submit for publication. But this is also a template for a review, okay, a review. These are book reviews, that's the review paper. So review present a critical synthesis of specific research topic. The purpose of a review paper is to succinctly review recent progress in a particular topic. Overall, the paper summarizes the current state of knowledge of the topic. And it also creates an understanding of the topic for the reader by discussing the findings presented in recent research papers or books. So more often than not, they will be commissioned by journal editors. So sometimes editors will reach out, for review papers, for review articles from scholars, so that they may send you some books, some information for you to review, so that they will publish in their journal outlet. So most often than not, the editors always commission that and also initiate the request. Reviews present an excellent way to solidify your research career. So take note of that. It is also one way and the fastest way to get an article published. You can review an existing book and make sure that the journal that you are submitting to, they deal with such publications. Yes, especially when you want to write to Africa and Asian Journal Pro.com. They deal with all studies related to Africa and Asia. So if a book or any information written on Asia and you want to review it, definitely they will accept it. So look at the star and the type of publication, the journal that you want to submit, they dealt with. Very important. Step 3, choose a journal. Choose a journal. First of all, list the available journals within your research field. You need to list all. And this will give you an idea of the range of suitable options, and with further examination, learn more details concerning the adequacy of your paper to its scope and the fulfillment of your expectation regarding the journal's profile. You may also know more about the audience on the ranks of the journal, in terms of whether the journal is a good journal, in terms of journal's reputation. Sometimes you need to look at their impact factor. It's very crucial. Above all, You can also submit to journals that you already read or know about, that you have a good feel for. So if you do so, you will have a better appreciation of both its culture and the requirements of the editors and the reviewers. So if you're already been in communication or reading some particular articles from a particular journal, yes, you can write an article and follow that journal and submit to them because you already know their style. Or if you do not know any of those journals, try to Google, journals in your field of study. At least you get series of journals, visit each journal to find out how the quality of the paper that they publish, so that you download one or two to serve as a guide for you to follow. Very important. Step 4, construct your paper. Each element of a paper has its own purpose, so you should make these sessions easy to index and search. Very important. Don't forget that requirements can differ highly per publication, so always make sure to apply a journal-specific instructions. As mentioned earlier in the previous video, you need to follow the specific outline that a journal wants. You need to check that before you submit it for publication or for acceptance to be published. So here you need to make sure that the paper's construct in terms of the structure follows the journal specifics. Very important. Don't do any general format. Make sure you have a sample to follow, serve as a guide. Very important. So journal specific instructions or guide for authors to your manuscript, even to the first draft. Make sure the text layout, the paper citation, all the nomenclature features and tables, they follow the style of the journal. Very important. It will save you time and also increases the chances for your paper to be accepted by the journal editor. So make sure you do that. It's a good idea and also a good practice. Step 5, decide the order of the authors. Sometimes on one paper, you may see 2 or 3 or 4 authors, and you need to list them in order of importance to the paper. Always the main author will be cited first, then the rest follows based on their contribution. For the social sciences and other disciplines, the most common way to order the names of the authors, is by relative contribution to the research article or paper. All right, so you don't just put anyone there, make sure that the person is contributing something to the paper, because some journals may request each author's contribution to the paper so that it will enable them to know how to arrange the names on the paper. Generally, the first author conducts and or supervises the data analysis and the proper presentation and interpretation of the results. And they put the paper together and usually submit the paper to the journal, and they are always in communication, like the correspondent as well. So sometimes the co-authors make intellectual contribution to the data analysis and contributes to the data interpretation as well. And they sometimes they may serve as reviewing the paper, so they review each paper draft. Sometimes that is the work of the co-author. They will just review it. Whatever you draft, they will go over to make sure that it reads well and is error-free. All of them must be able to present the paper and its results, as well as to defend the implications and discuss the study limitations. So once you're on a paper, make sure you know what is in the paper, because the paper will be part of you, and you should be able to present and defend every element in the paper. Don't just put your name on a paper. Make sure that even if your name is on the paper, you must read to ensure that at least you'll be part of it because your name is on it. If it's a bad paper, your name too will go with that bad paper. So make sure at least you contribute to it to bring, the paper to the level that you want, and also enhances the quality of the paper. It's very important. Step 6, check and double check. Check and double check. As a good practice before submission, ask colleagues to read your work and be constructively critical. Make sure that the paper is appropriate for the journal, as stated earlier. Take a last look at their aims and scope and the structure. Check if all the requirements in the instructions for the authors are met. Ensure that the cited literature is balanced. Don't give too old literature. Make sure it's a balanced set. Are the aims, purpose, and the significance of the results clear? Make sure there are clarity in the aims or the purpose and the significance of the paper, or it must contribute to the body of knowledge, so that is very key. Conduct a final check for language, either by a native English speaker or an editing service. It needs to be well edited. This is very important. It's very important in order to bring more clarity to your flow and discussion. So clarity is key when you're writing an article. The last step is submit your paper. That's step 7. Submit your paper. Once all these check marks, pass through that, the last step is to submit it. Note that after your paper has been well edited and you as well as your co-authors have double, triple, quadruple checked the manuscript, then it is now appropriate to submit the article or the paper via email or the available online submission system or portal that the journal has. Submit through that. If you need to create a portal within the journal website, you go there and you create the author's profile, portal, so that at least you can submit the journal. You can submit the article to the journal. Sometimes, along with your manuscript, you can also submit a cover letter if it allows that, which may highlight the reasons why the paper will appeal to the journal and which ensure that you have received approval of all the authors for your submission. Sometimes because they don't allow you to do that, they will bring, once the paper is being accepted, they will bring a copyright for you and your co-author to sign to ensure that all those on the document, they have given you the permission or the right for you to publish it. So very important to do that. In conclusion, remember to wait patiently for the decision on your submission. It doesn't matter how good the paper is, you must wait patiently, for the decision of your submission. So once your paper gets accepted, then praise the Lord, you're good to go. You will receive an acceptance letter from the journal editor. Then that one is a good thing. Sometimes you may get a minor revision. You may get a major revision. Then you just work through it and take the revision seriously and correct them and submit it on time back to the journal editor for consideration. Okay. Also note that if the paper gets rejected, do not despair. Do not be dismayed or despair. Okay, it happens to literally everybody. It happens all the time. It's not new to you, only you know. Remember that out of 100% submission, 50% gets accepted and 50 get rejected. So you are not alone. Okay. All right. So if the journal suggests major or minor revision, take the chance to provide a thorough response and make improvement as you see fit. If the paper get accepted, then congrats. As I said earlier, then that is a good news for you. But if it gets rejected, no, don't be dismayed. It happens literally to everyone. So you just have to stay put and work through all the suggestions. If the rejection came with some suggestions, then that is a good one. Just revise it, and you can resubmit it in the next opening. All right. So now that you've gone through all this thing, it's now time to get writing and share your hard work. And I wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much for subscribing to Gibbs TV. Keep watching our videos and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. I will see you all in the next video.